Merry Christmas. Hi. There's a little bit of ice on the Red Sea.
Whoops.
But right where this is, I'm going to have to drive kind of fast to go through it. And I'm going to go get a package down there. Hi. Hi. I'm going to go drive down the... What the heck? I shaved my face with a new cool razor and it did that? This is terrible. To wash my face. Hi. I just had to clear a plumbing leak. Since last night, I've been working on the downstairs again. It was good for a few years, and then it stopped up toilet paper. And guess what? I just took a shower, finally was able to take a shower, went straight all the way down the drain. And I have this, I'm going to do some more work to it to make sure it works really well for years, probably years, unless something happens out of the ordinary. It's not that bad of a thing. You clear the drain down so it goes down. I don't even want to think about it after saying that. But it wasn't coming up to here. It was way down in the basement. I want to put this away. Putting warm water on my face because I shaved.
Yeah, baby. What's happening? And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. We were just watching Johnny Boy, and you gotta love that guy. I mean, he is just so cute, just so sweet when he's not drinking coffee. Then he's like, woo. But that's why John's the canary in the coal mine. You want to see what's going on in the human race's condition? John is a whole ball of wax rolled up there, right? Me, I just tell you stories, right? And again, I want to welcome you to Dreamy Dreamland, and I am your sensei, Bobby Griot, and I'm wearing my Christmas chapeau, or one of them, and I love the Dollar Tree. You know, it's got everything you want for just $1, right? It's like the real deal. It's like the two different sides of our consciousness, right? So, again, don't believe a word I say. And here it is. We're getting on to Christmas. It's Monday, the 21st. So it's like, I think, the first day of winter, give or take. And hopefully the winter for me will be like what the fall has. And that has been, mostly beautiful, sunny, you know, in the 50s during the day and the upper 20s, early 30s at night. I can live with that. We, eh, since September, right, till now, we've had maybe 10 days where it was like in the 20s during the days and the O's at night. And that gets a little cold. And now, if that was like every day, that would get tedious. As long as it kind of, gets above freezing during the day and doesn't go too below freezing at night, I'll be happy. I can go into my little cocoon at night. It gets dark, I go to sleep. It gets bright, I wake up. Because there's nothing to really distract me. I got no internet. I got to drive 40 miles just to say hi to you kids. And it's a beautiful day today, Monday, blue sky. They haven't really started. Yesterday was a beautiful day too, but they started spraying this wax. And I hopefully tonight, tomorrow night should be the best nights to look at the conjunction. And I have a perfect spot. I got this spot that I'm just high enough above the trees out in front of me to see the southwest, and I can just see it really nicely. So I've been watching it. It's not like it happens like that. So it's been coming together, and it is quite interesting, and I can see it pretty well. I have a fair pair of binoculars that one of my military friends gave me, and I mean they're not like super duper like theirs, but it's pretty good for a gift. It was all right. Anyway, so it's yeah, and after Christmas, what comes, kids? The New Year's, 2021, 2021. And 2021 is going to make 2020 look like a cakewalk. This little hiccup with whoever came into our underpants, our digital underpants, it's going to be just like the 19, the Nouveau 19. The Nouveau 19, it was just happening in China. Oh, no big deal. We won't do anything, won't prepare, won't worry about it. And I am sure, the homeboys at the intelligence kind of had a sense that somebody was looking through their underpants. But, a lot of this is allowed to go on so the contractors can make more money. That thing that good old Grandpa Ike told us about, the military-industrial complex, but he should have added the military-industrial banking media education complex, and maybe even religious. And so 2021 is going to be one heck of a, are you guys into the roller coaster? And I spent some time working in a carnival fixing those things, wiring them up, and for a good 4 months, give or take. And they didn't have a roller coaster, but they had the like spinning wheel that then went like this, and so it had so much centrifugal force you were pushed against the cage, and so when you were up here looking straight down, and we also, ours was really cool in that we could drop out the floor. So as you spin around, bingo, the floor would go around. So you're just stuck on the cage, and if you slid down, you go right out, like it would shoot you out, into the crowd or the parked cars or on top of a telephone pole, whatever. I mean, tried, 1984, that was what year it was. And so that's what we're going to have in 2021. And we're heading for the big splat, and it's no big deal. I've been through the big splat. I've seen the big splat. And it all depends on your attitude, right? And so YouTube, that allows the most unbelievable stuff to go on. I mean, who's that kid, 17-year-old, who shot some Black Lives Matter guys, and they turned, the ultra whatever, has turned him into a patron saint. And YouTube has all kinds of amazing things of video games with him, killing the nasty Antifa, and I mean just real straight up wow. And they don't do anything, but you got to say whether your show is appropriate for children. And I have to say that this show is not appropriate for children. But that's not an age thing. It's a attitude thing. Because I know a lot of people who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s who are just children. Wah, wah, wah. They just complain. They don't want to do anything to make it better. Because the only thing that makes it better is love. That's the only thing. Not complaints, not judgments, not saying you're terrible and I'm great. No, sorry. Mm-mm. So, but this new Christmas comes along. So, and the English new bug that now if you they look at you, you'll get the C19, the N19, Nouveau 19. Because that's what it is. It's the new version of SARS. SARS-2, Nouveau 19. And they call it Nouveau because they've never seen it before, because it's been engineered. Go to my friend Cliff Hyde, Critical Thinking or something of that nature. And he's a computer programmer that spent his career modeling things. And, he modeled every nuclear war, chemical war, and biological war. And back in January, when he saw it coming, a friend of mine said, hey, remember Cliff, go look at his website. I did. He was putting it up every day, and he mapped it out perfectly, right? It's really amazing, right? And I wrote it down in my little notebook. And everything that's, every spike is he because it rang true to what the 1972 military handbook on biological warfare was. I mean, straight up. And then that thing was online. I kind of looked that up and saw what was going on. It's like, oh, wow, look at that. So the real interesting thing is not to get all freaked out. So people on the roller coaster, I brought that up, right? So I would watch people on the roller coaster, on all the rides. We didn't have a roller coaster. But after I was into doing this job for about, I just rolled, this carnival rolled into town in Long Island, kind of near where I was. I had a building, and I was, I drove by and I saw it, and I said, no, I'm not doing anything. And they were like setting up, right? And I saw the inspector, and I knew the inspector, and I wanted to ask him about the paperwork I had put in for some jobs I was doing. So I said, look, he's never in his office, so there he is. So I'm going to, so I pulled in, and I walked over, and there was the guy who owned the thing, this big kind of jolly guy who wasn't so jolly because the inspector was giving him a hard time because the guy who was his head mechanic died of a heart attack, a week or so before. And so when they took it apart, they lost half the parts and nothing was going together. So the inspector, when a carnival comes in or anything comes in with crazy machines that could kill people, the inspector has to okay it. So he's not giving an okay. He says, you're totally screwed here, buddy. And anyway, I'm listening to him. I know the inspector. And I said, so, Bob, what's wrong? And he goes, he tells me the story. And I said, well, I got a free week. How about I help him, Bob? If I take care of everything and shake your hand, will that be good enough for you? Can you sign his permit right here and now? He goes, yep. I'll give you a temporary authorized permit. That means, he can keep going. He doesn't have to move on. And I will come here a day or two. You just give me a call, and I'll take a look at everything, and I'll give him the final okay. I said, great. So the inspector leaves, and the guy is just like, who are you? And I said, I'm the dude, man. Can't you tell? Look at the hat. Look at the sunglasses. Look at the pink coat. I'm the dude. And I know that guy, and I'm a master electrician. I've got a contractor's license in this state and county, and I'm the dude. Whenever anyone wants something fixed, even other electricians, they come to me. There's the Brooklyn nuclear facility over there. Whenever they got a question, they come and talk to me. And those guys are all rocket scientists. Me, I'm just a dude. She goes, wow, you're really going to do this? Sure, I'm going to do it. Right. So I kind of, you know, broke it, got everything. I said, so where are all your roustabouts? Because I knew the terminology. He said, yeah, okay. I said, get them all here. So I said, okay, guys, listen. We're going to put this all together the right way, not just the Rube Goldberg way or just half-assed way, the right way. From here on in, this is the way it's going to go. And I'm going to teach you how to do it the right way because I may not be here. I'll be here the next week. For the whole time you're here, I'll be here, right? So we go to work, we break it all down, we take it all apart. I make lists of what's there, it's not there. I look at whatever documentation they had. We put it together, bingo, bango. About 3 days, everything's working great. Nothing's sparking, nothing's rattling, everything's working good. We get the inspector, he goes, yep, knew you could do it, Al. So we start. And so the guy who owns the place, he goes, gee, thanks, what do I owe you? I said, well, what was that worth to you? And he goes, well, we're here for a week. I'll probably make 50 grand. So you make that much money? I said, oh, yeah. Because they had shows, they had all kinds of stuff. And they had a boardwalk. And they had all kinds of food. And everybody came out. I mean, this is different than all the other diversions around that neck of the woods was. So everybody would come out. They didn't have a county fair. So this was as close as they got. And it was a lot more bawdy, that's for sure. So the guy goes, so you live around here, don't you? I said, yeah, I'm just, down the road. And he goes, well, we have another 8 stops for the next 2.5 months. And they're all kind of within 100 miles of this place. I mean, this is our cheddar area, and we just go from one town to the next town to the next town and the next town. So we're going to go about 20 miles up to the next town this size that has a lot that we can set up in. That we've been doing it for years. And that inspector, he's going to be over there. So, I'd love to hire you for the rest of the summer. You want to do that? And I said, I got nothing really. I mean, I got my people working. And if I'm going to be this close, I could kind of let them run the business and take care of the jobs. And yeah, I can. So where do I stay? And he walks me over to the lady who reads the Gypsy Woman. She's, I'm in my 40s and she's in her late 30s. So I'm just a little older than she is. And she is quite attractive. And she looks at me and she goes, yes, you can be my roommate. She had more plans for me. And so that was really great. So for the first month, we're there for a week. We went to the next town about 20 miles up the road. We're there for 2 weeks. And then went up to next town. And that's when this woman showed up who loved dangerous things. And she rolled in. And by this time, the Gypsy Woman, she and I, she had already found another boyfriend, younger, had more stamina and wasn't as big. I was starting to get big. But she still loved me. And she goes, you're like my brother from another mother that has benefits. Not my boyfriend. I really like you. I really enjoy you. I really enjoy, you read as many books as I do. Almost, we're a good team, but, you're not my boyfriend. You're my brother from another mother that has benefits. But the girl who loved the machines, that take the rides, now she was wild, that girl. And she just pegged on me, and she was, from the Hamptons, and she had money. She drove up in a red XKE. Let's see, who's writing this? SAR, big smiles. S says Stephen Smith. I tried sending holidays, but send it to your Dreamtime email. No, it's John said was it. No. So John got the money. Jesus. John's great. I mean, he's a sweet guy, but he is totally transactional. You take a dollar bill and do this. And so, yes. And he has no moral cavity about, whatever that money went to. No, I don't know how many times I have to say this. And the few of you, I mean, people do it. They just go to my, the dude awake 42 at Gmail. That's my Gmail. No other Gmails, just that. The dude awake 42 at Gmail. And that's where my PayPal is, right? And that's where it is. The dude awake 42 at Gmail. So, Stephen, I don't even know if it's you or if it's John or some troll trying to punk me. It's amazing that trolls still troll in Christmas. It's like unbelievable, So anyway, if you gave the 250 to John, well, hey, John really needs it. His parents give him like 20 grand a month. I don't really know what they give, but they give him a lot. They weigh, his. I mean, did you go see that YouTube he did when he got his brand new? He already has the best Apple iPhone they had, and then they came out with another one, and he got that one, and it cost like $2,500, or and he went ceremonially taking it out of the box. It was like masturbation, and that's what mass consumption is. It's like masturbation, and where I am right now, I live under a tarp in a tent, in a box. I'm like a Christmas present, and it's really interesting. On Thanksgiving, I gave away half all of the food I had for the rest of the year, right? To about 40 people who showed up off of the AT, all homeless folk. And over the summer, a lot of people had strolled into my campsite, and I shared myself and my hospitality, and these people showed up and shared what they had, even less than I did. And they were all military, and there were military families. And they had been thrown to the side of the road too. So it wasn't just single guys and gals in uniform who, for some reason or another, got thrown out. It was families too, and the stories they told. So, Thanksgiving was on Thursday. People started strolling on Monday before Thanksgiving. And I just started cooking up stuff and, cans, because that's all I had, canned food. So, but I'm the master of making it taste like wow. And so they were all amazed by my cooking prowess. And like every time, I must have cooked John Birmingham 1,000 meals, breakfasts, lunches, and dinners. And every time I do that, he would go, wow, that's the best thing I ever had. It's like the first time. I mean, and that's the beauty of John. Is that, and that's one reason I did it, because every time I did that, and he would say that, it was like the first time he ever had a meal made by him. But I made him over 1,000 meals, and so, and that's John. John is and John is going to be as miserable as he is, or as happy as he is, and that's really he's a Libra, so he is like this, woo, the scale, right? And he can, now when Libras can, I've had a number of friends who were scales who just stayed right there, and boy, they were kingfish, they could do it. But if you're tipping back and forth, shrinks call that manic depression. Well, I just call it out of balance, really. And but John can get the most kick out of things, just like the video I was showing you. When he drives down that road, it's like a scary ride. It's like a roller coaster, and that's John. He's either, scaring the crap out of himself, or bored, stiff, and miserable. And so I live out, and I have very little, right? Very nothing. That $250 would be something for me. It would pay my heating bill for the rest of the winter, right? And if it goes to John, he'll just buy, more underpants made out of whatever, or the cool shorts, or, socks that cost $25 a sock because they have stripes on it, or the newest razor blade. I mean, I don't shave. Once in a while, I have like a nice little electric thing that I used to use to cut the hair of my dogs. And when my beard gets like totally whack, I just go, and that's it. And I wear the same clothes. I mean, I've worn this jacket. This jacket is space age alien technology. It weighs all of 2 ounces, and it's the warmest thing I have. The only problem with it wicks moisture, so it's like your whatever moisture is in the air, and I live in a rainforest. It's like a sponge. But as long as it's getting the heat from my body, it keeps me warm. So, and I've worn these same brown pants for the last month and a half. And I mean, I never take them off. I mean, I go to bed with all this clothes on. I walk around with all these clothes. I go to bed. It's really easy. My feet are messed up. So if I had to put on pants every morning, it would take, I just kind of roll over to my socks, and meditate on my socks and then meditate on my feet. And then I have a nice little cream I made that does a nice job with my skin, because when you have diabetic feet, you can get bad sores. And this stuff is kept, once I got everything, balanced out, and that's called homeostasis when your body is balanced. Now, I got all this crazy shit going on in my body, but because I meditate and I sit satsang pretty much all day long. If I'm not writing or reading a book or fixing something, I'm sitting in state, right? And so it's quite. So all the medicines that the doctors want me to take, since I'm no longer in Virginia, I'm no longer in that system. There is no medical. What most people don't realize, that forget single payer. There is no medicine period out in the sticks. Where I am, there's, even in the cities, it's like, really. And so that's, Tennessee, which I'm near. It was one of those places I didn't wear masks. Now it has the highest rate of people getting sick in the whole country. Well, and the COVID Nouveau 19, it's, like I said, it's acting just like a biological weapon. Whether it's organic or man-made, who knows? But people are using it to their own advantage, whatever that is. So the thing I really wanted to talk about, how no matter what you have, the whole essence of life is not stuff. It's your experience, and how you can experience your way to understanding love's co-creation, right? And I've been doing that. I was blessed to be brought up from birth till I was about 7. And I mean, I would see my parents, but she took care of me. My parents were fine with that. I kept blowing things up and confounding them. My dad would tell me to do something, and I go, why? What do you mean, why? I told you. I said, well, why? I mean, you give me a good reason. You explain it to me. I'm here to learn. So tell me why. And he hated that. Just, ugh. And my mom, she was kind of down with it. She didn't mind explaining why something was this way or that way, or why I should do it, because she didn't do that because I say so. No, she would then explain why. I go, fine. But I also knew not to cross my mother, otherwise she'd kill you. I mean, one time I pissed her off so bad, she made me sleep in the garage for 2 months, and luckily for me, it was summertime, because she would have made me sleep in the winter. So, anyway, so what else is Steven saying? The payment was declined. I'll try. Real good. Time. Yeah, when you have time. So anyway, it's all good, and that's, I never, so my grandma had 28 rules, and one of them was never, always live like a millionaire, just don't be one. And that's my dad. My dad spent his whole friggin' life being a millionaire. So he was a great guy. I mean, one reason I took care of my parents, my brothers and sisters all worked for my parents, and not me. I had my own gig. And in 1980, when I came back from Australia, and I started being my parents were in their 70s, there was a gigantic war between my brother and father about the business and blah, blah, blah. So I got some folks who are my buddies who were shrinks, who they specialized in family things of that nature. So I kind of took them there and was like the negotiator. And of all my brothers and sisters, they all kind of each other, but um, I get along with them all pretty good. So in 1980, I came back from Australia, and my Donna wanted a nice little picket fence house, so I went off to do that. I started a real estate biz and a few other businesses. I got my licenses and became a serious businessman, right? And I was doing pretty good. And so my dad, you have to take care of us. Once they negotiated the separation, and I said, listen, sure, I'll take care of you, but you got to be only on a condition. What's the condition? That you're nice. What do you mean? I said, Dad, you have some really great sides to you. So does Mom. But the other sides are way worse than your nice side. So as long as you're your nice self, I'll take care of you. You know. What if I fall down the stairs? I said, well, you better be having a good day. And so I started taking care of them, and I kind of moved a little closer to them, and I kind of got in. Dad said, I want to do something with you. You always got these great ideas, and I always said, let's do some of them. And we did. And they all were. And it was right at the 1986 crash. And instead of like, oh, it's terrible, I said, no, this is a great opportunity. We can go pick some stuff up really cheap and find some really great crews that, have no work. And that's exactly what I did. And so we were doing things that my father had no idea about. I mean, he was a salesman, and this was all building and realizing, I was into demographics. So I was picking up these farms that I knew they were going to build a highway right there. And until the highway came, the property was worthless. Once the highway's there, it's going to need a mall and a this and a that. And so, we bought this one piece of property out in the middle of wetlands, and it was like a mess. And my brother, why we got this thing? It's because it was cheap, and it was right where the big highway was going to come. And there was no other place for it to go. No one said it was going to go there. There was no inside information. It was all demographics and geography. And I said, well, within a year or two, this thing's going to be, and that's the thing. Both my brother and father made the most money they ever made. And I just got a salary. And as the business accrued in wealth, and my dad had no idea what the heck, how I was doing it. I was just doing it, and not really saying, Dad, can I do this? Because I could, go to the bank. I had all of my suppliers wired in, and I didn't have to pay any bills. My dad, at the end of the month, he just kept seeing all this money going out. But then he started seeing twice, 3 times, 4 times more money coming in. And he had no idea what the heck we were doing. He showed up on this one construction site and wanted to know why this wasn't this way and that. I said, Dad, you don't do it that way. First you do this, then you do this, then you do that. I'm telling you to do it. I said, well, good luck with that. And I just ignored him. And so about 2 weeks later, he called me in and to our lawyer, and he had dissolved the business. And even though I was supposed to be, my name was on the thing, it was all his. And he sold it to our lawyer for nothing. And our lawyer was like really upset. And your son is brilliant. He's, stick with him. He's, this is your golden goose. I can't stand this kid. He's always asking why, and then he never tells me why he does anything. It's like, and I knew my father was going to do it because he did it to my brother, did it to my sisters. It's like, it's not like he's going to change the spots. So in those 3 years, I did a lot of stuff. I used that as a lever because I got involved in the No Nukes program and the Stop Shoreham Power Plant program. And I use all of my leverage and facilities to not just, run a business to make money. I use that to fund this thing. And we stopped the Shoreham Power Plant, and we stopped a number of other things that would have killed millions of people. So, and I tried to explain it to my dad one day, and he goes, why would we do that? I said, well, because it's a good thing to do. My mom understood it. My mom was great because she always looked like a queen. Right? She was dressed to the nines all the time. She always looked great. I mean, she was in her 90s and she was hot. One time, when they were living in their house down in Florida, um, this nice clubhouse, and my father would, once or twice a month, because he had $300 a month, just to eat. He gets 300 on the food bill, whether he uses it or not. I used to go there and have lunch all the freaking time, and they had a special table for me out on the patio. It was beautiful, shaded, nice breeze, and they put a gigantic table so I could have my books everywhere, and they ran a plug out there so I could plug my computer in, and it was great. But so my dad, he wanted, our reservations at 7:35.2. He's a military boy, and so he wanted to be there exactly on time. So my mom, she ran the boat, and she would always, yank his chain. So one day, it's about 10 minutes before we have to get in the car, and I would like to walk. I mean, it was only, you know, 3 blocks which would have been good for them to walk there, have dinner, walk back home. It's always beautiful. It's always nice. But he wanted to show up in his Mercedes, right? And so, and have the door guy take it away. And he never give him a tip. I give the guy, $5 or $10 every time. And I tip. You're not supposed to tip anybody. I tipped everybody, right? Because that made everyone who worked there really like me, and I could do whatever the heck I wanted. So this one time we're all getting ready, and my mom, usually every hair is in place. She's always got these amazing dresses. And my dad goes, why don't you go? He's watching the TV. He goes, go and check on your mom. Make sure she's ready. We're going to leave soon. I said, okay. So I go in there, and my mom is basically naked. And she has her hair all brushed out like she's Albert Einstein, sticking way out here. And she has really long hair. And when you tease it out there, it's like she looked like Angela Davis. And she was wearing her dress sideways. So where her arms went, her breasts came out. She had great breasts. Even in the 90s, at her 90s, she had amazing breasts. I walk in there, and, her bush is like she brushed that out, and her dress is pulled up above her bush. And, her breasts are sticking out of things where her arm's supposed to be. And she's doing this. So her breasts are going bing, 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 bing. And I start laughing hysterically, and then she starts laughing hysterically. And my father comes in and, so what's so funny? And he comes in and looks at my mother and actually shits his pants because he was having problems with that. Could not, and that's why they invented Depends, but he never wore them. I don't need those. One time we were in Walmart's, and I was riding around in one of those little scooters. My father, he was crapping his pants. He had shorts and no underpants, and he just kind of wiggle his butt, and the crap would go on the ground. He walked so it wouldn't touch him, but it would fall down. And I was doing wheelies in his mud butt, or his butt mud. And we got thrown out of the Walmart's nearby, and they looked at the security of things and printed photos that put out the door. Picture of my father walking with his butt like that, and his head like, and the mud coming out of his trousers onto the floor. And they had a big circle around him. He cannot come in. Wow. So that's the kind of crazy family I came from. And they weren't crazy because that's pretty much everyone's family is that way. And everyone has to deal with it. You either deal with it, and me, I found it amusing. And I knew what was coming way before it came. So I was always prepared. It's like when John has thrown me out of the school 32 times. And a number of them, he threw me out one winter about 4 years ago when we had the Arctic blizzard, when it was like, during the day, it was 90 degrees below zero, and he just, in the middle of the night, he just kicked me out. I had no place to go. And it was unbelievable, deathly cold. He did not think. And if you look at the video he did today going over the ice, and it was amazing. And I'm going to go really fast over the ice. No, John, you go slow. You just kind of roll over the ice. You don't go really fast, and you never hit the brakes. And if you're going fast, you're going to end up hitting the brakes at some point. And so watch that, him going down there. It's like, whoa. And I'm amazed that vehicle still. He had this one of those big penis trucks, big pickup truck that was like you needed a step ladder to get into it. And he drove that thing up and down like until it fell apart because the way he drove it down the thing. And that's how we drive our society. Unbelievable. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland, and don't believe a word I say. And remember, go to my. I'm working on my newest novel called Legend, and it's coming along. And what I have up there is Legend number 1. I'm already on Legend number 9D. So I have many. Whenever I make it says make a copy. So you leave the old thing you're working on and go on to the new one. So whatever you screw up on this one, you still have that one, right? So when you look at it, so I'm a copy of 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 copy number 9D. And I'm coming along then. I'm at about page 140. And on my clipboard, I have about 320 pages. So I kind of take something from the clipboard, put it up there, and then I write a bit of a story about it. Right? I take my essays. So it's my novels are essays and stories. Very much what a griot does. Griot puts out an idea or two and then tells a story about it. So that's what I kind of do. So, and if you want to, you can go to the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail, and on that Gmail account, the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail is my PayPal. Now, a number of people have put money into that. Now, I know it's possible because a number of people have done it. And they've done it by, I say, the Dude Awake, go to the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. That's my Gmail account. And if you want to talk to me, people actually talk to me. Now, I get so much spam on that thing. It takes some energy to go. And I know nothing about the internet. I don't know how to set things apart or not let certain things come on. I'm just barely able to do any of this stuff, And so go to xratted.blogspot.com, and that's where I have my griot publishing. Well, my stories, my short stories, my novels, my essays, all are. Go read that stuff. And then you can make a comment there, hey, I like this. Oh, you didn't do this. Oh, why did you do this? I love that. I love critique. That's what writers like. And that's one thing I miss is that, back in the day, I was part of many in New York, in London, in Dublin, in Istanbul, in Sweden, in the place in Amsterdam. Oh, that's one of my favorite places to live. I lived there at the time before so that was mid-70s, and everyone there was poor and was that's really where I got the you can squat and squatting there, and so many people squatted in Amsterdam that the utility companies they turned on the electricity, they turned on the. Let's see. Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, so and also I'm awful naive. I'm awful innocent. I believe everything people tell me, but I've learned from experience at a young age to trust but verify, right? So, plus I learned early on to I had all these great teachers who taught me how to meditate and how to exist in the different ethers. And so you can see things coming miles away, right? And all the women I ever were really sensitive on that level, right? My first wife, my second wife, my 5 other wives that I didn't marry, they were all that. And they all thought they were crazy until I said, no, these are skills and characteristics you have. You should really thank God for them. Here, let me show you how to not be afraid of them and how to, and that's what I still do. I meet a lot of people. I say, I read everyone's palm, only if I can look at them and say, they need this. I'm at the cashier. I said, let me look at your palm. So now I go to the Walmarts and all the people at the cashier, they're like, oh no, get out of the way. Let this guy, he's next. But he was at the end of the line. I don't care. He's not, that's like me giving the guys at my father's whoop-de-doo Florida Palace a tip. They always treated me better than any of those other, and all those guys were millionaires. I mean, ridiculous millionaires. And I've told loads of stories about them. I won't waste my time. A little more. Shalom. My morning coffee that's been there in the car for the last 3 weeks, and it's just right. It's like coffee is like wine. It just needs to be just right. Anyway, what time is it? Oh, it's getting towards the noonish hours. I've been talking a while. So I'll try and drop one before Christmas, or maybe on Christmas. I mean, it's coming up quick. Today's Monday. Christmas is Friday. Today's the first day. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to know.
That razor was a little too sharp.
Come on.
Okay. Wow. Where do you see the road? Just this one little place that has an ice patch, and I gotta drive past it carefully, and then I can go down the hill. There is, see, on the ground. There's a little bit of ice there, but not really. The tire tracks are good. Right until the little bridge, there's a little ice. I'm gonna drive kind of fast on the edge and go. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna watch it when I drive through, pretty much. I believe, yeah. Unless something happens in single, you'll get to see. Where I drive right on top of the ice patch and go have enough speed to get. I can go down the whole mountain, which doesn't have really any ice the rest of the way down because it's lower out. I have 5 on my phone. Should work. I have 5G on this phone, so the cellular, it should get me down the internet all the way. 5G for the live video. Okay. We had to cut that tree down. It fell right through here when I went. Whoa. Learned something. Okay. Now here's the little ice patch. Not that bad. I'll show you the ice patch. Here it is. See this bridge? It has ice on it. See? I don't want to fall down there. I gotta drive across it. It's the ice patch. It's the ice patch. I fall down there off the road. I gotta drive across that carefully. Let's do this. Here's what I'm gonna do.
See what I mean about the roller coaster of life? Anyway, I'm gonna. I got some things to do, and I want to get them done sooner. Okay, gang. Love you.